Habits. Really quickly, just for everyone watching, Melissa is awesome. She is an engineer and a fashionista and a mama and a wife and all these amazing things. And so when I asked her to be part of this conversation with me, I just thought she'd be perfect. But we're not going to talk any more about her. I'm going to put her bio in the description if you want to read more about her and where to connect. But Mel, tell me why habits? Why did that come to mind for you?
That's a good question. So, for me, I feel like I've gotten to this point where I'm doing the same thing every day, right? So there are habits. They're not necessarily good or bad in all cases. They're just habits. And some of them are necessary habits. And I think a lot of it comes down to maybe boredom. Um,
Hmm.
I'm sort of bored with the habits. Um, I definitely think that there's some habits that I should work to change that are that maybe one time worked, but now they just don't anymore. Or maybe it's a negative habit. Um, but by and large, I'm just feeling like I need to shake things up a little bit. I got to get out of this routine.
I totally get that. And in some cases, I have to get into a routine, if that makes sense. Like my routine for me has become like this non-routine. And I was thinking about this with COVID. It's like the getting dressed. I'm out of the routine of getting dressed. And I need to get into it because I'll find myself, it'll be noon and I'll still be in my pajamas. And I've walked my dog in my pajamas. Like it's gotten a little out of control. And I guess it was COVID. I don't know.
But
I blame COVID.
have you slept in your clothes and then woken up with them the next day?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And it's just like that is a habit that I don't know if it ever really served me, but anyhow, yeah, I hear you. And so when we were talking about this, I just did a little bit of research on habits. And let me just kind of cite this 40 to 45% of daily behavior is habitual. So we're on autopilot almost 50% of the day. Isn't that incredible?
And when I saw that, to me it feels like it's closer to like 80%. Um, because there's just not that much difference from one day to the next for me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And when I read that too, and then I was thinking, but I feel like I still have a million thoughts in my mind, if that makes sense. Like I'm going through these routine actions somewhere between 40 and 80% of the time, but I've got a million thoughts in my brain. That those don't necessarily feel habitual. Like those can be totally out in left field at any given point. So it can feel for me, I was like, yeah, that feels a little untethering at times. Like my action can't keep up with my thoughts necessarily. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Um, so then add midlife onto it, and we've got all these responsibilities.
Yep.
So where does that leave us? Stuck in the mud.
Well, right. It sort of piggybacks on your topic from last week, right? Which was really about midlife and, whether you're sort of activating or playing the victim. And, um, in that sort of stuck mode, like we tend to get in that mode when we hit midlife. Um, and so that's probably a little bit of what you and I are dealing with.
No, I think so too. And so when I was thinking about what we could bring to the conversation, and what might be interesting for others to hear about, and what we would also love to hear from others about, is kind of, first of all, just taking a deep breath and thinking about like the awareness piece I also kind of brought up last week is can you think of any specific habits That you didn't really like realize it was a habit. And then when you realized it, you realize it's not really serving you the way it could be.
I definitely have an example of that. Um, so it's interesting because this particular habit that I'm going to talk about started off as a good habit, something that I needed to do every
Mhm.
day. But now it's become sort of like it's created some stagnancy. Is that a word?
Yeah, oh, I
Stagnancy?
like it. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's like not doing what it used to do, certainly.
that's right.
Yeah.
So, and what that was that I was really struggling with um, the daily routine of getting up in the morning. And I'm also not a morning person. So that's another habit we'll talk about. But so I'm not a morning person, right? So I get up at the last minute and I'm rushing out the door to get the kids off to school. And then I immediately jump into work.
Hmm.
And that wasn't working for me. It was making me feel like I had no transition time. I had no time to sort of gather my thoughts and maybe do something for myself before the day really got going. So I decided that I was going to consciously start work 30 minutes later every day. I am in a position where I have that sort of flexibility. And so, instead of starting work at 8:30 in the morning or at 9 o'clock in the morning, now maybe I'm not starting until 9 or 9:30 and I make up for it on the back end. Um,
Great.
so that I at least have that 30 minutes, whether I want to read or go for a walk or just sit there and scroll, which sometimes I do, or, um, make the appointments that need to be made for me and the kids, like whatever it is, right? Like I have 30 minutes. Um, but what I'm finding now is I've been doing that for probably a year, and some bad habits are creeping into that good habit, meaning that maybe I'm sitting there and scrolling more than I really should be, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
doom scrolling instead of maybe I should pick up the book more and read the book more or
Hmm.
go for more walks to replace the scrolling, right? So some of the bad habits are creeping into the good habit. Um,
Can I just jump in really quick?
yeah.
Because I think two things are coming to mind for me. I feel like, first of all, a lot of the like the self-help people, I guess I'm kind of one of them, right? Is like they talk about like don't judge and don't call a thing good or a thing bad. And I get that, right? We don't want to judge ourselves, but sometimes I feel like habits are bad.
Mhm.
Or they're at least not good, you know what I mean? And so anyhow, I just kind of wanted to I've been noticing that as like, no, some things just aren't working. Some things are bad. And that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. That doesn't mean, that doesn't mean you're bad, but you've recognized a habit that is not a good one. So,
Yeah.
anyhow, just calling things good and bad, I feel like we don't have to vilify it as long as we recognize it's not that we're good or bad people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Um,
so like it is, I agree with you. When I find myself scrolling for 20 minutes and it feels like two, that's not a great use of my time. That is a bad habit. So,
yeah.
anyhow, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just my other quick question on that is, did you have to like ask permission to shift your time back, or was that something you were able to just sort of do and schedule on your own? Like you have a pretty high level of agency with your work, so I'm just kind of curious how that, if there was a conversation.
The only conversation was really with myself. Unless there's a morning where, a client really insists on having an early morning call or something like that, I typically block out my transition time in the morning. I usually have it blocked out from 8:30 to I think 9:30 actually. So that way from 8:30 to 9:30, even if I am sitting at my desk, nobody's trying to schedule a meeting with me, nobody's trying to call me. Um, so I do have that leeway with work, which I'm very thankful for because I know not everybody does. Um, and so, there's other ways that you could build that transition time in if you don't have that flexibility, but that just happens to be mine.
Well, but I feel like it's not a terrible conversation to have though, either. I mean, I just, like if somebody's sitting here thinking, oh, like ask the question, right? There's no reason not to, because especially 30 minutes, it seems like a pretty like reasonable request. I don't know. So yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. Because that could work really well. But I guess getting back to it, when did you start to notice that it was no longer accomplishing, even though you've got this hour blocked off? When did you kind of start to realize that?
Um, Somewhere between getting too many packages delivered to my door every day and getting the notification on my phone that you have spent 6 hours and 27 minutes on your phone today. Um,
Oh, the screen time alert,
the
the
screen time.
great humbler.
It is so humbling. So that was just sort of a realization for me that like maybe I'm not using the time in the best possible way.
No one loves a delivery like you.
I know, right? I see that UPS truck and I'm like, I'm at the door like a dog in the window.
You're like, hi, friend.
Yes, I know him by name, Bob,
Oh,
my
oh,
package
sweetheart.
delivery guy. He's such a good guy.
Oh my gosh. But that screen time notification is so humbling. And if I'm talking to people about like health stuff, and if they say, oh, I don't have time to take a walk, I'm like, okay, open your phone.
Uh-huh.
And people are like, oh God. And they like know where it's coming. And it's not judgment, right? That's one thing that is not good or bad. It simply is.
Mm-hmm.
But if you find yourself not liking that number or that, it's just a really good like self-check, right?
It
To
is.
say, how much time am I spending doing something that's maybe not pushing forward my goals?
It's like it's like stepping on a scale.
I thought the same thing.
Like, you look at it and you're like, wait, I spent 4 hours on my phone today, collectively over the course of the day. Like, imagine if I hadn't done that at all today, I would have had 4 hours.
Yeah. It's so true. You can take a nap. You can walk 10,000 steps. You can cook a meal. There's a lot you can do in that time that I'm pretty sure we could both find really positive things to do. But the phones are, I mean, listen, they're meant to addict us. They're doing a great job. Good job, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Well, and I guess an interesting to sort of piggyback on that. I mean, one thought that comes to mind with um, the addiction that we have to phones and just scrolling is so I'm spending 4 hours of my day, right, on my phone, throughout the course of the day. Do I know what to replace that time with? Like, what are those good habits? And I
Mhm.
think I've gotten away from that. I think I've gotten away from like, how can I fill that time? What do I do?
Right. Well, that'd be an interesting exercise, right? Just to kind of like journal on that a little bit or think about if I want to be a healthy, well-adjusted human being, where could where could even 3 of those 4 hours be used that's really going to build me up or build up my family or my job even, for sure.
Yep.
Yep, for sure. Um, so I think something else that I'm curious about, like because that's a perfect example, is it still sounds like that time blocking is positive, like your morning time block. So maybe it's not you're not trying to scrap that entirely, but you want to refocus that hour? Or what are you thinking? Or do you think it's time to just say, hey, this isn't working. I'm going to hit the ground running and I'm going to find another hour? Like, how do you feel like you're going to try to build back in the positive aspects of that have kind of slipped over the year?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I want to give it up entirely. I do think it's good to have a block of time that's just for yourself.
Mhm.
Um, I think I just need to shift what I'm doing with that time. Um, and making sure that it's not the same thing every day too, because it's starting to feel monotonous. So,
Mhm.
maybe one day it's I'm reading my book, and the next day I let it be my phone, and the next day, I let it be going for a walk or something, or getting some exercise. Um, but I think just mixing it up a little bit too, um, gets you out of that boredom. Sorry, I think we lost each other there for a second.
No, that's yeah, you're back now.
Um,
But you're just saying mixing it up, which I totally agree.
just mixing it up. Yeah. I mean, I think that also keeps your brain sort of active and engaged and moving. And when you do the same exact thing every single day, I just think that um, we're not really training our brain, right? We're
Oh,
not.
totally.
So
Well, and to kind of get to that, something that I thought would be kind of fun to talk about is how we make those good habits stick, you know? And when you were talking, I was thinking for me, if I were just to leave that to chance, I probably would easily fall back into a rut. Um, but for me, if I'm disciplined at scheduling my free time, which I know sounds weird, but it's something about putting the committing to, like today, I'm going to read my book, or you know what I mean? That seems to be really helpful for me. Because I can get lazy, or I guess lazy a little bit. I can get a little lazy.
we all can, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but it's like intentionally, it's like shaking it up, but doing it with a process, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but I think you see where I'm going, right?
I do.
Um, any other strategies that you use that have been helpful for when it's time to like you've recognized it's time to shift the habit?
I think I'm better at recognizing than actually changing. So it's something I need to work on.
Yeah. You know, the other thing I'd offer that's habit stacking. Have you heard that term?
No.
So I've found this to be really helpful for especially kind of smaller kind of habits. And it's the idea of you think of your day and think of something that you do routinely. And so brushing my teeth. For example, I'm really a consistent toothbrusher. I was not a consistent tooth flosser, which is something I wanted to do. And this is totally like duh. But so you just floss when you brush. You know what I'm saying? And that's like kind of a classic example of habit stacking. Um, because you're never not going to brush your teeth. So just still
Unless
wear
you're
your,
one of my kids.
well, yeah, yeah. But okay, let's say in a perfect world, um, another example for me is I'm good in the morning. So when I wake up, I know I'm going to make lunches for my kids because I've done that for 20 years. Not an exciting habit, but one I determined is important enough to keep doing. Um, Now I wear my red light mask in the morning because do you see what I'm saying? So it's like adding that sort of passive habit onto the active habit kills two crow's feet. Um, and so, but I don't feel like I've added because you just can't add shit into your day forever. It's not possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so habit stacking. And maybe that would be something for you to just kind of noodle on, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Interesting. I'll have to think about that.
Um, so habits, any final thoughts on that? I guess, is there anything, this is my last kind of idea, is like this idea of like things we stick to really matter. We brush our teeth because we don't want our teeth to fall out, right? That we've determined is important enough. Um, any other habits you feel like you've really stuck to because you know, like in your heart, they're too important to give up?
Hmm. Um, I would say it's probably related to work. My time outside of work is sacred, especially with the kids and with my family. And I'm a regular 9 to 5er, and there's not a whole lot that is going to interrupt that.
Mhm.
And that is always a bigger habit that I've had, which is I really protect that space, outside of work.
Duh,
Uh,
absolutely. Which is interesting because when you first said it, I thought you were going to say something relating to your work, but it wasn't really to your work at all. It was more to your family.
mhm,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah. What about you?
For me, it's definitely around exercise. Um, I mean, just exercise is my mental health, it's my therapy, it's my physical health. It helps me sleep. My digestion's better. Like, just for me, I will not do many, like pretty much everything before I'll exercise, including like I would not go to a child's event, for example. Like I would choose my fitness at this point over over something that was maybe less important. Of course, I would triage it, but I just really know that it's so important for my whole well-being that that I hold that really sacred. So yeah.
Nice. I love that.
All right, friend, let's not only talk about serious things. Do you have 2 more minutes for
Oh,
a little beauty fashion
oh, always.
moment? That's what kind of brought us together.
Yes, absolutely.
So what is one thing that you're like loving right now?
Oh, I always struggle with this question because I love everything. There's so much to love out there right
Well,
now.
and we know Bob's
I'm
coming to your
waiting for
house every
Bob.
day, bringing you
Bob,
stuff.
he's coming today with an anthro order, so I'm
Oh,
patiently awaiting that.
love us some Bob.
Um, right now I'm super obsessed with the new Alo drop. I love yellow.
Yep.
It's my favorite color. So they dropped a candlelight yellow colorway, and I took it. I took it all. I took it all. I got everything. Um, so I'm patiently waiting on that. And I'm a little bit obsessed with Chloe right now. So got a couple of pre-spraying pieces there, and I'm very excited about that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the Alo yellow and the Chloe. I loved your little bag. That was super cute, but not yellow. So
Not
you are an
yellow.
equal opportunity
It
kind of
was
soul.
And that bag was very out of my comfort zone. It was dark, it was moody, had a lot of hardware. Not my usual, but
Oh my
so
gosh. Look,
cute.
look at you making a new habit.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you, so for me, I love skincare and I have never been committed to vitamin C serums. I don't know if you're a vitamin C girly.
Am.
But so Stephanie, our mutual friend Stephanie, and both my estheticians were like, you got to do it. It's great for skin tone, it's great for brightening, boost sun protection. And I am not a great sunscreen wearer. This is not a political statement. I just have never been. I'm super sensitive to sunscreens. So I decided I'm back on the vitamin C train. I have to say, I don't love it. I have yet to find one that I don't think is a little stinky and doesn't have a little stick to it. So I'm currently using the Dr. Dennis Gross, but recommendations are welcome. I would love them. So let
So
me know what you're using.
I will have to text it to you because I can't remember it, but I get it at this little Korean beauty shop, and it's got like a very high concentration of C. It's like 20% or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that was because when I talked to my dermatologist about it, she basically said that the um, kind of like the products that you would find, at Sephora and online, they don't really have high enough concentration, so you need to get like the medical grade stuff.
Yeah.
So I did invest in that. It's a little bit pricey. I think it was $100. Um, but I'm blanking on the brand, and I will have to send it to you.
Well, you text it to me and I'll make sure that we put it out for everyone for their vitamin C journey and their yellow and they're aloe. And thank you so much for talking to me today about
Thank
habits and
you.
beauty and all of the things.
Yeah, this was so fun.
Oh my gosh, girlfriend, I love you. And hopefully you'll come back another Wednesday.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm here. I'm here for it.
All right, girl. Take good care. Love you. Until next time. We're
All
not
right.
old. We're not young.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.